Hi, Keith. Welcome. It's very nice to meet you, and thank you very much for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Keith, thanks again for being here. Before we jump in, can you tell me a bit about yourself, how you discovered Carnivore? How did it all start for you?
So I've been carnivore since January 2024. So I'm Keith. I'm from Ireland. I'm from Dublin in Ireland. As you can probably tell by the accent. But what was it? My health journey really started about 30 years ago. So I'm 51 now. And when I was 30, I had three people in my family diagnosed with cancer. So my mother-in-law, my father, and my brother all had cancer. So that made me stop and take a long look at my health and where I was going. And I was a very different person 30 years ago. So I played in a death metal band. I used to have hair down to here. Played in a death metal band. I was drinking a lot and smoking weed and all the usual stuff you do when you think you're bulletproof. And then when so many people in my family got sick, then I took a long look at myself and so where I was going wasn't good. So I needed to change. So I'll keep this as quick as I can. So I saw Forrest Griffin talking about a paleo diet after a UFC fight, and I'd never heard of the paleo diet. And obviously, the fighters are all in great shape. So I had recently just started back martial arts. I'd started training two martial arts at that time, and I started checking out the paleo diet. So I kind of looked into that, thought I was doing it, but I kind of really wasn't doing it properly anyway. And I was still having the same kind of problems I was having. So then fast forwarded so many years, I saw Dave Asprey online, so I was doing the Bulletproof diet, and again, wasn't really working for me. I probably wasn't doing it properly either, but I thought I was anyway. And then I looked online at all the what all the influencers and so-called health people were telling me to do. So I tried doing all that, and that really didn't work for me. So I was doing, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. So I was training 5 nights a week, sometimes twice a day, lifting weights 3 times a week. And I'm still wasn't in the worst shape, but I wasn't in good shape, So something had to change. So I was doing all the protein powders, all that nonsense, everything. I was still chicken would have really been the only meat that I would have really gone for. I would have the odd steak, but I wouldn't have been too mad about it. And then I just kept seeing stuff about carnivore diet. I looked at keto, but there's too much in it for me. You can have this, and you can have that, and so much of this, so much of that. It's just too much for me. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so it's not going to happen for me. So that put me off that. So then I saw a live with Dr. Chaffee, and he just explained it in such simple terms that even I could understand it. So I was I'd be very skeptical towards it, to be honest with you. When someone says you just eat meat and you'll get healthy, I was like, yeah, right, that's going to happen. But so anyway, he explained it so well, and I was like, right, I'll give this a go. Give it a go for a month and see what happens. And I did. And during that month, then the more I got into the carnivore kind of field, the more people were saying, if you can do it for a month, you need to do it for 3 to really get the health benefits. So I was like, right, well, if I can do it for a month, I could do it for 3 and see what happens if I'm not dead or skinny by then, I'll keep going. So I did it for the month anyway, and immediately the effects were straight off. My wife hates my ears from jiu-jitsu. I was getting cauliflower ears. They're not so bad now, but I was so badly inflamed that even after a week of cutting everything out, I'm a major sugar addict. That's one thing I have to say straight off. It's my biggest enemy is sugar. I love it, but I can't have a bit of it. I have to have a lot of it. So within a week, my ear had gone back down. Up here, I've piercings up here, and or had piercings up here, and they were really noticeable. But within a week, the inflammation had gone. So I was sitting watching the telly with my wife, and she's like, "Oh, look at your ears." And I was like, "Oh, all right, what's wrong with them now?" And she's like, "No, well, it's gone down so much, So that was the first kind of sign things were working. So that was it. So I did the month anyway, and once I got fat adapted, I was hooked. Get fat adapted was the major hurdle for me. And then I did the 3 months. Then I was like, right, that's it. That just proved it for me. So that's the short version, if that was short, but that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
That's pretty awesome, Keith. With all the benefits and it's kind of like instantaneous, like the way it happened to you. I think because you were trying to lose weight, right? Um,
Yeah.
and you mentioned about trying out different diets. I think you mentioned paleo and the what other bulletproof diets. How long did you do your research for before jumping into carnivore? Was it a couple of months or just a couple of weeks after maybe hearing a couple of influencers? Or, and I think you also mentioned Dr. Chaffee. Like, did you do extensive research before jumping in?
No, so like to be honest with you, I thought it was nonsense. Like, the idea of eating meat and it being healthy for you, it goes against everything we're told at the moment. So he just explained it so well. I was like, well, I've tried pretty much everything else. Like I've never been vegan. I'd never go vegan or vegetarian. And each to their own. If that works for people, then best of luck. But it's not for me. But he just explained it so well, and I was like, okay, well, I've listened to other people, and they weren't not even as convincing. But and it wasn't even that he was a doctor. He just explained it so well, and it was like, this is what will happen, and it did. Everything he said happened, and that was it. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a month. Like a month, it's not going to kill me in a month. So I tried it, and then that was enough for me. That it, like, even after the week and seeing the inflammation go on, I was like, all right, there's something to this, because before that I was doing everything right, the way. So I was convinced by how well he had explained it in the first place,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You also mentioned about doing two martial arts. I think one was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I think you also mentioned about weightlifting. How does that affect, I guess your daily life, your exercise? I mean, your ability to exercise and your work. Does this give you like sufficient energy, or like does this boost your energy even more?
Yeah. So especially in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like I'm probably not the oldest, I'm probably the second oldest in my gym. And I have to play a different game to the younger guys, but I'm rolling with guys in their 20s, and I'm able to hold my own. Now, as I said, I have to play a different game, so I have to try and slow them down. But I've never had the energy that I have now. Before, like if I had tried to roll with them in my 20s, I'd be murdered. Like I'd be gone. Like, so before I went carnivore, like I could do, say we'd be doing 4 or 5 minute rounds. I could do maybe 2 in a row. Then I'd have to take a break of a round, sit out, and then get back in. But now I could go easily like 6 or 7 rounds. If I want to push myself, I could go 10 rounds. I haven't done that in a while, but I could easily do that. Like I just know the energy's there. And like I'm not worrying about cardio. As I said, I can slow them down and I can play, but I can keep it going. That 30-second rest in between the rounds, and I'm good to go again. So that's a definite bonus. And then the lifting, I don't really like, because of my age as well. I'm not trying to. I'm not going to say I'm not, but I don't ego lift. So I'm doing a lot of bands, and I would do like kettlebells a lot. I'm not trying to lift the heaviest weight that I could ever lift. It's it's a fool's game, especially at my age. So I'm really trying to protect my joints and that. And then I have arthritis in my finger. You can see this one here is twisted. So that was another thing that really, with the inflammation, that really cleared up when I went carnivore. So that would normally be, or you can see it, it's disgusting. But it's. Sorry, I'm laughing now because my wife slags me. Do you know that movie? Scary Movie? Your man goes, "Why don't you use your strong hand?" That's what my wife says to me about this. Anyway, sorry. If I eat something that doesn't agree with me, this is like I just stuck at the door and slammed the door on it. So I'll know within 30 minutes if something doesn't agree with me, if there's something in the food I'm after eating. So it's like my litmus test. That I have that. But then even as far as weights go, no, I'm not trying to lift the heaviest I can lift, but I can keep going. I can push it, and I can push it more than I would have done before I went before going carnivore. So it's definitely a bonus. Now I don't have superpowers either, and I do have guys that I know that would obviously be younger, and they're going to load up on carbs, and they're going to push through. They're going to lift way more than me, and they're going to get that extra kick, and that's fair enough. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm 51. I'm in the best shape of my life. If you put me beside myself at 20, you'd think the 20-year-old was in their 50s. You know, not saying I'm a model now or anything, but I'm in a lot better condition now than I was in my 20s, you know.
Yeah, this is, I feel like this is the best thing, like, to be able to compete with younger people, and do as well, I think that's really cool. I think, because you mentioned like, I think 5 times a week, doing BJJ, and also lifting weights 3 times a week. How does the carnivore play, with your recovery? I feel like this is a lot of workout, like per week, but you're able to do it,
Yeah. Like I'm a very stubborn person as well anyway. So unless I get injured, like training jiu-jitsu, I'm good to go. Like I'll still go to training if I'm injured, the way, like mostly it's my ribs because, yourself, you're rolling with younger people or whatever, but kind of push through it. Like, but like I don't get the DOMs from lifting weights. So that's not an issue. I'll push. I'm not, like, know my limits to a point. Like I know when to stop, or, time as well. I have 3 kids as well and a full-time job that's, we do shift work. So that's another obstacle. But so a lot of the time I'll get in and do high intensity workouts, and so it might only be in for 20, 30 minutes, but you'll know in the room that I've been in there. So yeah, that one. And then jiu-jitsu, like you can sit in or sit out or take part as much as you want, but I try and be as active as I can when I'm there, and just make the most of each training. But yeah, like I don't, like, it's definitely a bonus for being able to be ready again the next day. And then I find if I don't do it, then more in my head then is at me like, why didn't you go training? So yeah. And then I travel a lot for work, as you know. I'm a flight attendant. So when I go to different cities, I try and train in the different cities there, the hotel gyms, and then I'll go train jiu-jitsu. Or if there's nowhere I can do jiu-jitsu, I'll go for a run. But I only really run when I'm away on a trip, because I'm not a runner. I'm not into to run. I only do like 5Ks and then I stop dead on the 5K, and that's me done. But that's more of just like get out and think, I just get things out of my system and that, like, so it's. But even at that, like I'm 51, I can do a 5K in just over 23 minutes, which isn't bad, like, especially in temperatures that I'm not used to. But I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that before being carnivore,
This is really awesome. I feel like I'm really amazed by this whole thing. The recovery with your line of work. Also, you have 3 kids, full-time job. I feel like everything covered it for you. I guess I just want to explore with your line of work. How do you deal with jet lag? And like I guess like maybe because you go to different cities and then you have different time zones. Like does it disrupt your sleep, or does carnivore help you pretty much like get over these things?
Yeah, I'm finding that fasting and exercise is kind of the best thing for me now. I'll wear like a sleep mask as well, like to go completely black out where I'm sleeping. I'm definitely sleep deprived. I've been on a transatlantic flight every week for the last 7 weeks. So like I kind of don't know which end is up at the moment. Like I was in San Francisco 4 days ago, so I'm still feeling that, like, but I do find that fasting is helps me, like, so I'll have a breakfast, which is, when I'm in the States, it's normally an omelet, and I'll have that like as kind of around 10 or 11 a.m. and then I won't eat again until the following evening. I know it's different time zones and everything, but I won't eat till the following evening my time. And depends on the flight and really my humor. I have to psych myself up for it, but I've done about 4 or 5 3-day fasts, and I found them to be great, but I have to be in the humor for them. The way, like, sometimes I could get home, like sometimes I come home from a transatlantic flight and I'm going, oh, I need to eat now, and I just have to eat, and I am going to be the Antichrist if I don't eat. So, like, my wife will tell you that, like, I'm not nice when I'm hungry. So, but other times if I'm in the zone and I know, okay, I have to fast, that's it. Like I'm fine. But yeah, I definitely find fasting helps me, and I'll try and exercise definitely in the day. Like I've gone and trained jiu-jitsu. Like I'd say I would have done Chicago a lot, and I'd get home from Chicago at say I would get back to my home at about 6:30, and I'd be walking into the gym at 11 a.m. That's 6:30 a.m. and I'd be walking into the gym at 11 training, and then I find with the jet lag though, it's like the whole blood oxygen and everything. I start panicking then when in situations that I wouldn't panic. So I know that's myself. I bought one of those pulse oximeters to check my blood oxygen levels as well. But that's definitely something I found from flying, that, you know, when you go back in, you shouldn't be going anywhere near the gym at that stage, but it's addictive. But yeah, so but when I'm away, I try and eat as clean as I can. So I'll go into, if I have to go to like a fast food place, I'll just go buy burger patties, and I'll just eat them, burger patties and bacon, and I'll eat them. Or there's a good few places that, you know, have affordable steaks as well. I'll eat that, and that's kind of really how I manage that when I'm away.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess I feel like I just have a couple more questions on this. So what do you think is, since you travel a lot, which location or city do you think has the best carnivore friendly environment? Like, I know you probably have like some go-to airport meal, right? Like, or specific ones. Yeah.
I never eat in an airport if I can avoid it. So my favorite carnivore city that I travel to would be Chicago. So I don't know. You been to Chicago? Yeah, you know Chicago well. Yeah. So you know Mariano's. So I'll go when I land. I'll go to Mariano's, and they'll cook you a steak. So I'll go get a steak. Now the only thing is they have a 2 pound weight limit on what they'll sell you with meat. So I went and I got a porterhouse steak and 2 burgers, and I wanted 4, and they were like, "Oh no, that's too much meat." I was like, "But I can go downstairs and buy as much sugar as I want." I wasn't going to argue with them because they're cooking my food. Like, but I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I'd get a steak and 2 burgers, and then go back to the room and eat it. Or there's there's a burger place in downtown Chicago, Smash Burger. They pretty much know me by name now. I'll go in and I'll buy the burger patties from them, and a load of bacon. So there, when I go to Chicago, I know I'm going there. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong in Chicago. It's great. There's a few places like in San Fran. There's a place Tad's. They do the steak as well. That's great. You just go in, and it's like going into a chip shop here. Like, you just go in and order steak. It's great, and you can sit down or take it away. So I'm sure you know what I know yourself, but yeah, they'd be my go-tos.
Yeah.
If not, I'll just go to like a diner and, you know, take the chances then with an omelette. That sort of stuff. It'd be just meat. Like the looks I get. Do you want any fruit or toast? No, just meat. They're like, "Oh, okay," and that's me. That's me done. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just wondering what the waiter could be thinking, but yeah. So Keith, what is your motivation now? Yeah, what is your motivation now? Like, is it like pretty much because you're feeling good, helping people, sharing your story? Do you feel like a sense of duty, spreading, you know, to tell people about this? Are you by any chance frustrated with the current medical guidelines, the nutrition?
Yeah, like all of the above. So like with my job, I work with a different crew every day. So when I pull out I could be on, I do a lot of earlies if I'm doing European flights. So I will have my breakfast, if I bring breakfast to work, will be like ground beef with bacon and eggs scrambled. So I'll make it the night before, and then we've just the oven on the aircraft. Then I'll reheat it in the oven. And when I take out my breakfast, and the looks I get, it's like, "Are you having dinner at breakfast time?" And I was like, "No, I'm having breakfast at breakfast time." And they're like, "What are you eating?" And then I explained to them, and they're like, "You've no fiber in that." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So like every day I'm telling somebody different about carnivore. So I'm sure I'm, you know, that nut job that in work, "Oh, wait till you fly with your man, like, you know, see what he's eating." But then you know, it's like the common story when you turn carnivore, you don't realize how many friends you have that are actually nutritionists, you know, because they're telling you so much of what you're eating is wrong and all that while they eat all this rubbish, like, you know. So yeah, I would tell, like, I'd be constantly talking about carnivore and work, which to probably my workmates probably gets on their nerves a bit, but sure, what can you do? But no, I've had some really good conversations with people in work. Online, I've kind of backed off a little bit. There's so many people doing it better than me. So, and I did go into coaching at one stage, but I've just kind of backed off everything online at the moment. I just kind of got burned out. Probably the best way of saying it with the whole carnivore thing. Like, I love it and all that, but I just, you know, there's so many people doing it better than me, and there's just the same message. And then, anyway, that's a long story, but yeah, that. And sorry, what was the last part of the question?
Yeah, I think you know, maybe are you frustrated with the current medical guidelines or in the nutrition sides? Yeah,
definitely, yeah, because like they're nonsense, do you know? Like I said to you before, like I would have only really eaten chicken before I went carnivore. I did like steak and all that, but not to the extent that I do now. And now, like, I'd have chicken for a snack. It's just not enough. And you know, that's what's, and it's not unhealthy, but that's what's you're told, you know, you have to have your chicken breasts and this, and it's everything with chicken breasts and spinach and all this rubbish. Like, but that's even if they're going as far as recommending chicken, you know. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating, and like, even just the health advice in general, like, it's whatever I see online or I'm told by an official, I just think the exact opposite. Now, I would be a conspiracy theorist anyway. I'll come straight out with that. Like, but yeah, no, I wouldn't believe anything I'm told by anyone official, especially the government. So if they tell me to eat this, I'm going to eat the exact opposite and recommend the exact opposite to anybody. But yeah, no, it's terrible. Like, you know, one of the main things that got me into carnivore was, apart from how I felt, my mom was dying with Alzheimer's at the time, and she was at the late stages. And then I had seen or had heard Dr. Chaffee talking about how much this can help people with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all that. And yeah, that and statins. Like, my mom was on a statin, and I blame that a lot for her condition, or the extent of her condition. Like, so again, I am a conspiracy theorist, so I'll be straight up about it, but you'll never get me on a statin. Like, I'll take the heart attack before I have a statin. Absolutely, you know. So yeah, that, like, so seeing the advice that on, like, you know, there's a pill for everything, or, you know, each to their own, and people can make the choices as long as they're informed. But then, you know, you go down the whole road now of the GLP-1s and all that, like, and, you know, people would go to the, like, we're not normal people in today's standards. We eat meat and eggs and we drink water. That's, for the most part, it. That should be the norm, but we're not normal to society. But we're extremists. You'll be told, but they'll go as far as injecting themselves every day. And again, if that's what you want to do, then fine. But, like, I don't know. It's not for me. Definitely not for me. So, like, you know, you can't inject willpower, or at least you shouldn't. So, but again, if you have all the information in front of you and that's what you decide, best of luck to you. It's not for me. I'd rather be healthy and be full, you know, and nourished, and have my body full of nutrients. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, especially the last part. Also, I feel like you know, we're not normal to other people who are non-carnivores. I feel like you know, because we eat meat and eggs, and we approach this whole lifestyle differently, in understanding the nutrition side. Keith, so what was your favorite food? Because before carnivore, I know you mentioned trying out different diets like the paleo and things like that. Yeah, did you have anything specific?
Anything with sugar. I was like absolutely mad for sugar. Anything sweet, cheesecake, if I'm going to be honest with you, that would have been probably my favorite. It's not a food. Yeah, like before I went carnivore, I would have really only eaten to not be hungry. if that makes sense. Like, it didn't really matter, but the sweeter the better. Do you know that way? Like, even people ask me, do you not miss vegetables? And I was like, no, I never liked vegetables. And the only one I did, obviously I'm Irish. So you're Irish. If you don't like potatoes, whiskey and Guinness, there's something wrong with you, like, so I used to love potatoes, but looking back, it was the butter. I used to smother roast potatoes in butter. And I think looking back, it was the butter that I actually really, really enjoyed, because I still do. The kids laugh at me, like I'd be taking chunks of butter and eating it straight away. And they're like, the hell are you doing? But, I can't think I had I would have been really bad for fast food. So I would have loved like chicken curry with chips, fries. That would have been or pizza, but like, since I stopped with the pizza, I'll show you how much the inflammation has gone down. That's how much I've lost. I had to size my wedding ring up 5 sizes, and that's how much, like, I should really resize my wedding ring, but every time that flicks on my finger, it's like a little mental cue, like to remind me how far I've come. So I was so inflamed, like it was unbelievable. So yeah, I had no idea the damage I was doing to myself. Like, I probably would have been a diabetic in a few years if I hadn't have like changed the way I'm going now, So pizza or Chinese food, that would have been my go-tos, or what I would have really looked forward to. And now steak, that's especially barbecued steak. That's my go-to now.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, and you put a stop to pretty much everything. Yeah, it's pretty good. Keith, so looking back at the start of your journey, the carnivore journey, were there any mistakes you made, or maybe because I know we get a lot of different advice from different people in the space, in the community, like what and how did you learn from them?
So I went cold turkey. Like, I just stopped everything. Coffee, now I have added coffee back in since, but I went cold turkey, and I did it like fully strict for 14 months. So as I said, like, I'm probably the most stubborn person you'll ever meet. Like, you tell me I can't do something, you can consider it done. But I don't think I didn't really make any mistakes as such. It was just getting through the fat adaptation, because I didn't think my diet was as bad. And I almost gave up towards the end of the first month, because I had gotten a bug, like a vomiting bug. And I had bought a steak from you have Lidl over there. It's like Aldi, that kind of a shop. But I bought this big steak, and I'll never forget when I got the bug. I remember thinking it was that steak that did it, and I was like, "That's me done. I'm done now with this. If this is what's going to happen, I'm going to be sick." And then the next day, I found out that few of my friends that aren't carnivore had something similar the same night. So I was like, okay, right, I'll keep going. Just let myself. I fasted for a while and just let myself get over whatever it was. So that was fine. But I didn't really. It wasn't until I started messing around and trying to add stuff back in, that's when I kind of learned my mistakes. I got to a point where I'd gotten to where I needed to get. I felt great, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start adding things back in just to see what happens. Some things were terrible. Some things weren't so bad. So I was on a flight to Chicago one night, and when I got there, I was on the late one. When I got there, I decided it'd be a great idea to try and eat the way I used to eat. That didn't end well for me. So I basically bought a load of sugar, bought like donuts and chocolate chip cookies and M&Ms, that sort of stuff. I was just going to have a snack before I went to bed. But with me, the way I'm so bad with sugar, once I started, I couldn't stop. So I basically inhaled a bag of donuts, and then I had about half of the packet of cookies. Went to bed thinking, I might feel a bit queasy, my stomach might be a bit upset. So I went to bed about 10:30. I woke up at 1 a.m. with the worst pains, cramps I've ever had in my life, from my waist to my toes. I actually went into shock at one stage, and to the point where I was getting to the point where I was going to have to ring down to reception. And I was laughing at myself then, because I was like, what am I going to do? Ring hey, call 911, I've eaten a donut, you know. It's like, how do you explain this one, you know? So yeah, I learned my lesson there. Like, that will never be happening again. But that, and then I added coffee back in because and I know people are probably going to be shouting at the screen now saying, oh, you know, people just can't give up coffee. But I gave it up for 14 months. I had no problems with it. And I had no issues giving up. I had no withdrawals or anything like that. And I've drank coffee all my life. Even as a kid, I would have drank like instant coffee. But I've never really had a problem with it at all. And I'd heard, you know, you hear people saying, you know, if you drink coffee, you'll get the DOMs again and all that sort of stuff. So I said, well, I'll see what happens anyway. And like my kids have come in from school now. They're older now, like, but they come in from school and we'd sit down, we'd make a coffee. Before it was Carnivore, we'd make a coffee and we'd have a chat about the day and all that. And I know my son especially would kind of miss that. Like, and even though I drink maybe bone broth or something, it just wasn't the same, and he wouldn't have it. So little things like this anyway. So I added the coffee back in, and I haven't had any problems. I don't get the DOMs when I go training and that, like, so I know it's not going to be the same for everybody. And then I'm open to taking it out again. I'm not saying I you know, that I have to have it or anything like that, but I do enjoy it. As I say to my wife, I could have a cup of coffee and the house could be on fire and I'm not getting up until I finish my coffee. It's the only drink that I do that. But other than that, I only drink water. I don't drink like Coke or anything like that anymore. I do drink the odd time with my wife. We go out. We don't go out very often, so you know, it's not a religion. I know it's going to affect me the next day if I have it. I don't drink too much, nothing like I did when I was in my 20s. So, you know, I give myself the freedom to have bits and pieces, or the freedom to make mistakes. But I like trying stuff, or even trying supplements as well, just to see what will happen. And that, like, so to answer your question, I didn't really make too many mistakes as such. Maybe the way I would have cooked certain things, but I didn't, because I went cold turkey and I was just like, right, I want as quick a result as I can get by any means necessary. That's why I didn't really make too many mistakes. It's only when I added stuff back in that stuff happened.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I really like how you approach everything, and not having too many mistakes is pretty good, you know, for me. Keith, so what does a typical day or week of eating look like for you now? Do you keep it consistent or do you switch things up? Can you walk me through, you know, what you usually eat?
Yeah. So if I'm going to have breakfast, it's normally 6 eggs scrambled and 4 strips of bacon. That will generally do me. And then I won't have lunch. And then at dinner time, depending, when I was strict, we used to barbecue every single day. And as you know, Ireland, it rains all the time. So I bought a shed to put my barbecue in so I could barbecue every night. So that's literally all that's in the shed. But yeah, so if it's going to be, if I'm going to barbecue, we'll put some pork ribs in the slow cooker. We'll slow cook them for the day, and then I'll finish them on the barbecue. And I will have preferably a ribeye or like a porterhouse steak with that. And that's generally my food for the day. If I'm not having steak, I will have ground beef. I'll make it into burgers. Like, I literally just grab a lump of it, roll it into a bowl, throw it in the pan. I'll have that, and then I'll have I normally have 2 burgers because I'll be cooking for my wife as well. She's about 80% carnivore, so I'll have I'll cook up 2 burgers each. I'll put a strip of bacon on each. I'll have 6 eggs. She won't. And not every night. I might add some cheese to it. She'll have it every night, but so that's me. So I'll have 2 burgers with bacon and 6 eggs. I had gone for the last couple of weeks. I've fasted a good few times over the last few weeks, and then in between the fast, then I'll be just having 1 meal a day. But I kind of went off a little bit where I wasn't listening to my body as much. And then in the afternoon, then I was like getting sugar cravings. Like, I still get sugar cravings. And I was like going, right, I need to eat in the morning. So I've started eating breakfast again in the morning. Like, if I feel like having it, not rather than going, oh, I need to fast today. You know, if that makes sense. So the last while I've been having a breakfast and a dinner, but that's really it. I wouldn't have 3 meals a day anymore. I just don't need it. But if the time comes and I do need it, I will have it, like, the way. So back to how I started: eat when you're hungry, eat till you're full, and then stop. Which is great because you have the leftovers in the morning then for your breakfast if you want to have, like, so it's like I always have to have ribs the other morning with my breakfast, which is always nice. But that's my typical meals. And then if I'm away, I'll have an omelette like I'll go to a diner, have an omelette, and depending on what time I land, like if I'm landing in the evening in the States, I won't eat, and I'll just sleep and then have my breakfast in mid-morning and then fast until I'm home.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same for me. Yeah. I mean, I don't eat like 3 meals or more, ever since Carnivore. It has just gone down to like 1 or 2 times per day. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. Good list. Is there anything hard about being carnivore for you? Some examples for me would be like social gatherings with family and friends who are non-carnivore, the travel. And I know, with your line of work, I'm sure there's a lot, basing it on the stories, the cravings in the beginning. It took me a while, to get it out of my system for like over a year. Did you face skepticism with family and friends too? Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, and they still do think I'm mad, especially if you go out, with if you socialize. Now, I don't get out that often, in fairness, but when you do, it's like, what can you eat? I was like, I can eat anything, but I choose not to, and then you get into the whole, you're explaining things and that, like, but yeah, that can be awkward as well. And it still is as well. Like, even like if I'm flying, say, and my flight's in the afternoon, and like, because of my work, I'd have to be in a few hours before the flight. So if I'm going to eat, I'm like nearly trying to load up before I go because I don't want to eat on the plane. And then, there's the temptation there as well. Like, it's always there for me with sugar, like, just feeling hungry, and maybe I'm not in the mood for fasting and whatever. You're just bored, that kind of way. Like, you can be, if the flight's dead, you can just don't tell my work I said this, like, but you can be bored, So, yeah, that was definitely hard. Or then I was at a friend's wedding there last year, like, and he was only actually asking me the other night, like, he goes, "What did you eat at my wedding?" And I said, "I just ate what you gave me." Like, it was like a Christmas dinner, basically, is what it was. There was veg, and I did eat it, and it didn't kill me. Like, one day it's not going to kill me, like, but rather than being that guy sitting in the corner, like, just picking at a bit of meat, I was like, I'll just eat it. It's fine. Like, but yeah, that, like, and then just, people coming at you with, like, people can be aggressive as well. They don't understand, and they're like, "You need fiber," and you're like, "No, you don't." And then you get into an argument with the people, and I'm just like, "Oh, look, whatever, you do you." And then people just, like, they won't take it, that you're eating differently. So I found that has been a problem with some people. Eventually they go away, like, but like, I got to the point with one person in particular, and they were overweight, like, and they were anyway, they were going down this whole road with me, and I was like, well, so if we put the two of us side by side, which one of us looks healthy? And that was the end of the conversation. I was like, "How long are you doing your way of eating?" And they were like, "Oh, 3 years." And I was like, "Right, yeah." So I'm pretty much not far off the same. Which one of us looks healthy and which one doesn't? And that was the end of the conversation. The other problem I've had was my doctor is my work doctor. So I was very careful when I was getting my bloods done. I didn't go to him because then I knew my cholesterol was going to be high. So there's a friend of mine in the jiu-jitsu gym. She worked in a doctor's surgery, so she got me in, and I got to see the nurse, got my bloods done. And I told her before I told the nurse, like, listen, before you draw the blood, I'm doing a carnivore diet, so my cholesterol's probably going to be high. I'm not concerned about it. Like, just so you know, grand. But 2 days later, phone rings, "Get off that diet, you're going to have a heart attack." And I was like, "Listen, I understand what you're saying, but I've done my own research." Anyway, in fairness to her, she was lovely and all, and she was only looking out for me, but she was like, "No, you're going to have a heart attack. You need to get off that." So in Ireland, the recommended cap cholesterol is 4, like, is total cholesterol, and mine was 13.3. So I can understand her concern, but I was like, oh, like, as far as I was concerned, more cholesterol, more testosterone, and was like, I'm good. I was a little concerned at first because, that's a lot compared to the, you're only new to it, and no, I'd left it over a year to get my bloods done as well. Like, I must say that because I know you're not supposed to really do it till at least 6 months. But like, I'm not concerned about it. I've done my own research, and I'm informed. I know what I'm doing, and if it goes pear shaped, it's my own fault. But like all my other bloods on my panel were all great. So this one thing is high, allegedly. It's like, I'm not worried about that. Like, so that's another thing. Like, people try and rubbish it then as well because of cholesterol levels and all that. But then you see what they're eating then themselves, But so they're the kind of main things that would have been the problems,
Yeah. I mean, I could just imagine that conversation you had with your doctor. I'm sure, because it's kind of placed in the current, medical approach and the nutrition side. So I think it's only normal for them to react that way, because our understanding when it comes to nutrition is a lot different now. Keith, so if you had to describe the impact of carnivore in life, what one word would you describe it, and tell me why?
It's amazing. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like, I would not believe it, and you would not believe it until you try it. The quote I saw the other day was, "Nothing tastes as good as feeling healthy." Like, being healthy feels like I just murdered that. But there's no amount of sugar that tastes as good as feeling healthy. And like at 51, I know, like, people I train with and their dads, struggle to get out of the chair, or, maybe not the lads, maybe not so much the guys I train with, but I see other people I work with, and, they're all sorts of problems and that, like I should have more problems than I do, especially, arthritis and that, it's not only going to be linked to, and then my mom was the same. She had the same finger as well. I used to slag her as well about it. So now it's, mocking's catching, as they say here. But, my goal in life is, when I die, to have been on no medication. And like, I'm the only one in my family that's not on medication now, like, as in my brothers and my dad. That's my goal, and so far I'm going towards it. Like, I went, I'm not on any medication. My brothers are, thyroid and stuff like that, and I have no problems. And it's down to being carnivore and, like, my lifestyle. Well, carnivore is a lifestyle. I wouldn't call it a diet, but that, like, and my exercise and all the rest. So that's how I describe it, definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm glad to hear, you being off meds. I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Keith, so knowing what you know now about the carnivore and the nutrition, and so many other things, if you can give an advice to someone who may have a chronic issue, or maybe their goal is also to lose weight, and they see how much success you've had, with doing, multiple activities, full-time job, but at the same time, they're super, super skeptical about this whole thing because, they think they're going to get a heart attack, some heart issue, and they have no clue. What would you tell them now?
Like, I think that one of the main problems people have with carnivore is they say, "Oh, it's anecdotal evidence." But, like, really, I'm living proof. You are. There's so many other people that have done carnivore. So, like, you just have to try it. Even try it for a month and see how you feel. Once you feel how healthy you can feel, you'll never go back. It's okay to add stuff in and mess around here and there. But once you realize how well you can feel, and that you, like, getting older, especially people getting older, that it's not a slow death sentence. You can be healthy and feel better than you did in your 30s, like I do, just by eating, and just, I don't know, forget everything you've seen in the mainstream media. Basically, that's it. Just, people are just selling you stuff and selling you lies, you know. Eat meat. That's it. That's all I can say. Try it and see. If it doesn't work for you, then you're doing it wrong, you know, or else there's bigger issues, or it may take you longer. But like, so many people can't be wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you've been carnivore for 3 years now, over 3 years. What about for those carnivore who've been carnivore for over a year? What can you tell them? Like, you know, I think some of them might be experiencing like oxalate dumping, but they don't know it, or maybe they're lacking, you know, electrolytes. Maybe they have some electrolytes issue, or they come across where they had all the benefits and then all of a sudden, a year later, they are having issues, but they are not sure. Should they just like approach carnivore, be patient, or, you know, maybe seek a health coach, someone in the carnivore space? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like there's somebody else has definitely gone through something similar to what you're describing. So yeah, like I know there's a woman that I was working with, and she was just wasn't losing weight, or isn't losing weight, but she's staying like a plateau. Now there's certain things in her diet she shouldn't have there, and she knows it and she's working on it. So you definitely reach out to somebody. Like there's definitely somebody that's had similar issues, and then like we're all going to hit plateaus as well. Like especially with the oxalate dumping. Now I didn't really get that because I know my diet was terrible, like, but I wasn't, you know, milling the vegetables out because I didn't really like them anyway. So I didn't experience that to the extent that some people, you know, you'd only be ending up with kidney stones and stuff like that. Like, and then people blame carnivore. Oh, it's this. We don't realize it's their previous life that's causing this problem. Like, but yeah, definitely reach out to somebody. Like, all the information's out there for free. Like, really, if you just dig far enough, you'll find it. And it may take longer for some people. You may be lucky like I was, but I was really strict. And then like mess around with it. Try different people. Like I follow Sean O'Mara, you know, Dr. Sean O'Mara. Yeah. I really like his approach to it as well. So, you know, I've started implementing stuff that he does into it, just because, again, it makes sense to me. You know, I know other people are saying, no, you don't need that. Like, and that's fair enough, but I'm willing to try. So I would definitely experiment with different things and try different things. Be open to doing it. It doesn't have to be like, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, you know, you might need to tweak it for you or whatever issues people have. You know, you just don't know. So definitely reach out and experiment. That would be the advice that I would give, but don't give up.
I feel like that's a great advice. Especially for those who have been carnivore for more than a year. Keith, so my last question to you is your future outlook on this. How do you see carnivore in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see it being in the good light or the bad light, or maybe a mix of both? Do you see, the good light could be, we'll hear more people talking about this, inquiring about this, because you're seeing a lot of people healing their specific, issues, diseases. And at the same time, the bad light could be meat prices going to skyrocket, pushback in the media. I think we hear some of it now. What else? In the medical community, maybe also. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a mixture of both. I think you're always going to have it. It'll be underground to a point. But I think with the mainstream push, everywhere you look, it's all meat's terrible. And most people I talk to are like, oh, yeah, I don't eat red meat. I'm like, why? And, they'll spout out everything that they're told by the government guidelines and all that. So yeah, and then meat prices as well. Like, I don't know, like that's kind of another reason why I got into fasting, because it was like, if it's going to be that expensive, and the benefits of fasting are so good, like, that yeah, like I don't care as long as they don't stop making meat available, I'm going to eat it, no matter what price it is. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a problem as well. Like supporting your local butchers as well is really, really important for that. Rather than relying on a big chain shop. Like I've a friend of mine that hunts deer, and I've started buying meat from him now. So like I know exactly where that deer was, and he's hunting it, and then I'm eating it. So like you can't get better than that. So that's where I'm looking to go going forward. Like, but yeah, there's such a push against it that who knows what's around the corner with. Again, I'm a conspiracy theory. I don't want to go off on one here, like, but yeah, who knows? You know, these carbon trackers and all this nonsense that they're talking about that's around the corner. So, yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. Like, but yeah, just hopefully people will come around and realize, like, you know, to push back as well. Like, and there's a big movement now starting in Ireland as well. There's 4 carnivores in Ireland that are starting Carnivore Ireland, and they're pushing for events and that, like, so that will highlight it more and more. So there's more people asking and that, like, but still people think the healthy way to go is to lots of cardio and your greens, which is, you know, it's not the way to go. But yeah, so I'm just hoping there'll be a pushback in a good way, and people will educate themselves and try it, you know. Who knows what's around the corner.
Yeah, I like your outlook. I feel like I'm also very hopeful. You know, I mean, I do think it, like you said, it's going to be a mix of both when it comes to this whole thing. Keith, if people want to reach out or connect with you, where's the best place to reach you?
So Instagram is the place to get me. So it's just my name, Keith Whelan, and then an underscore. I have Facebook, but I don't really use it. So it would be mostly on Instagram. So I mostly post stories of late. I've kind of stepped back a little bit from social media for the last while. But yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, that's where I am. Or I have a website, Carnivore with Keith, funnily enough, at gmail.com. Or yeah, just carnivorekeith.com. But that's the email address if anyone wants to reach out. I do have coaching there. But if anyone wants any advice or wants to chat, just hit me up, Instagram or email or the website, and that's where they can get me.
This is excellent, Keith. I'm going to make sure to post them all in the description so people can reach you. Keith, thank you again for joining me. I really enjoyed hearing your story and learning about your carnivore journey. I appreciate you taking the time to share. Thank you.
Thanks very much for having me, and I love the channel. Thank you.